Welcome back. And as we earlier said, as we are witnessing an economic leap, the economic situation have witnessed in Egypt an economic leap and a transformation, a very satisfying transformation since 3 years. I mean, for 3 years now, we have been taking very tangible steps, great steps in the right direction. And of course, while Governor of the Central Bank, Dr. Tariq Amir, was inaugurating the Forum for Egyptian Expats, he talked about that particular element, and he hailed the transformation in the economic medium here in Egypt, and he referred that to the national stability. And he also talked about the military operations that have combat terrorism and how successful have been that in the best interest for boosting economy and other many elements. And on that very important issue, we're very delighted to be having with us our economic expert, Mr. Hany Abou Fetouh, to elaborate on Egypt's current economic status. Good morning.
Good morning.
Good morning, sir. First of all, the importance of such forum, which has been called for, and it's actually the initiative started by Her Excellency, the Minister of Immigration and Expatriate Affairs, and we had before that Egypt can an international youth conference to bring in the Egyptian youth into the country. So how do you see this particular event in light of the government efforts?
I believe that this event is important. It comes along in the right time to boost the efforts of the government to lift the Egyptian people, whether the inhabitants in Egypt or expats abroad, to know the progress of the economy and what are the issues that need to be discussed with the expats abroad, how they would help it or expect to help the country in its in progressing the economic reform. So it is much in line with the directives of the President Sisi that Egypt is progressing, and with the efforts, sincere efforts of the people, the Egyptian people abroad, and we will continue to see great movement towards the progress.
Right. Of course, Mr. Abou Fetouh, this particular forum holds importance in the sense that it represents a true beginning to enhance the communication with, or the link between, Egyptian expats and the state here. Of course, as we all know, that the Egyptian expats' remittances played a major role in supporting Egypt's economic status, noting that the Egyptian obtained about 38 billion and 16 billion US dollar indirect foreign investment over to Egypt have been injected to boost the economy. So how does that will be able to help know the needs and solve the problems and challenges that are meeting the Egyptian expats while they try to invest their money here in Egypt?
Egyptian expats play a very important role in boosting the economy through their transfers. I would like to mention that the remittances of the Egyptian expat has witnessed a big hike in the last year. The total number of remittances, the amount of the remittances amounted to $26 billion as opposed to $17.5 billion as at end of the last quarter of the financial year 17-18. So the remittances represent a reasonable part in the foreign exchange reserve, which Egypt has been trying to build since the beginning of the economic reform. It is now in the range of $44.5 billion as opposed to $16 billion in year 2011. So the remittances make us feel that the Egyptian expats abroad are boosting the economy. They feel that the remittances play a big role in such progress.
Mr. Hany, now for the Egyptian expatriates themselves, how can we encourage Egyptians to invest in Egypt? And especially that it's about invest and travel. So we have here investment versus tourism as well.
Well, there are several ways, but I mean, Egyptian, even in the forum, at the end of the forum, there were several recommendations. One of the recommendations was about establishing funds, investment funds for the expats abroad, and sending delegates from the state officials to meet the expats in the consular sections there to make them aware of the investment opportunities in Egypt. So the investment map, which is now has been up and running since September last year, has several opportunities for the expats and for the foreign investors to see what are the good opportunities that would attract the funds to Egypt, and of course this would give mutual benefits for the state and for the investors and expats as well.
Right. Can you brief us on how foreign currency transactions from Egyptian expats make a huge difference in promoting economy in Egypt? Of course, foreign currency can promote anywhere the economy, but particularly in Egypt, how can they use it to the best interest of boosting the economy?
The remittances of the Egyptian expats is an ongoing revenue which boosts the foreign exchange reserve. So this type of revenue or revenue stream is very important to Egypt, because without this revenue, the source for the foreign exchange and hard currency would diminish by time. So Egypt here, or the Egyptian economy, counts on this type of revenue to be ongoing and to be used in developing the economy.
What about the role of the banks in eradicating the obstacles that Egyptians might face abroad, whether in sending their money or in investing, and the regulations itself of the banks?
Banks collectively have launched several initiatives in order to boost the relation, to attract the foreign funds and make the remittances or the financial transactions of Egyptian expats easy and affordable. And banks as well, they, from time to time, they take part at exhibitions in the Middle East, and they go and visit the expat communities in the Gulf area, and they listen to their expectations and their financial needs, and they plan to meet their needs by developing products and services that serve their needs.
Right. How do you think Egypt's new policies have enhanced or empowered the rise of investments generally, in not only foreign investment, the Gulf investment, the other foreign investments here in Egypt? Do you think that a change in the policies, like in the law of investment, the one-stop shop, and the other facilitating process that have been taken or that have been suggested by President Abdel Fattah al-Sisi to promote investment in Egypt, how have it helped investment?
By way of example, I would just want to stress on the importance of the new investment law. The new investment law and the executive regulations of the law has provided several incentives for local and foreign investors. So if we compare the new version of the investment law as opposed to the old one, we would realize that the new incentives for the investors has helped in boosting or in attracting the foreign investments to Egypt. By way of example, no confiscations for any investments without a final court order, a foreign investors would be allowed, would be granted residence in the country, and they can employ foreign employees to the projects. There are other incentives as well. So I see all these incentives collectively has boosted the move towards attracting new investments into the country.
Apart from the expats forum, speaking about investments in general, the Central Bank of Egypt assigned around 300 billion Egyptian pounds for small and medium enterprises and the SMEs. Now, how can that help in improving and boosting SMEs in Egypt and providing more job opportunities? And is it just the money allocation that we need, or do we need more to be able to promote SMEs in Egypt?
This Central Bank of Egypt has developed or has presented two initiatives to boost SME sector. In fact, SME sector constitutes a major part of the business activities in Egypt. Some figures speak about 70 to 80% of the business in Egypt are classified as SMEs, small and medium enterprises. So the essence of the initiative is to make funds available to SME sector, and the CBE defined it as the small and medium in its directives. So business that generates revenue up to from 1 million to 20 million is classified as an SME. So they provide, the initiative provide low interest, 5% low interest rate on the SME finance, and also provided some flexibility for banks to waive the legal reserves from the SME lending. So it makes this would make banks encouraged to lend to SMEs. The more money are made and technical assistance as well offered to SMEs, the more job creation, the more efforts to put the unemployment rate under control. So all these initiatives, I think, very important until maybe March this year, end of March this year, around 100 billion Egyptian pounds were paid to finance the SME sectors from the banking sector.
Mr. Abou Fetouh, when we talk about for attracting foreign investment, there are other elements that are supposed to be present or required in a country so that foreign investment can come and feel convenient, like democracy, like other institutions, like tourism institutions, like the state security institutions, like national stability, like other important stable elements in the country that would boost or encourage the investor, whether he could be an expatriate or from the Gulf or from other European countries, to be able to invest their money other than the economic elements. So if you would like to elaborate on these elements.
In order to attract foreign investments or even to boost the domestic investment, it's not only the investment law. There must also be other elements that would contribute to make Egypt investment-friendly environment. As you mentioned, I fully second what you're saying, the stability, the economic stability, political stability, the security, and fighting and combating terrorism. All these are important in making Egypt a suitable environment for investment, whether it's domestic or foreign investments. Also simplifying the bureaucracy in establishing or regulating the business activities in Egypt. This is very important. It's like what the Ministry of Investment has developed in making one-stop establishing a one-stop station for establishing new businesses. So getting rid of the red tapes, the bureaucracy, simplifying the regulations, all these are very important. They are put all together in front of the investors and would make them think very seriously to boost, to make their investments in Egypt and expand as well.
During the session of Ask the President said that for Egypt to start feeling the benefits of the reforms being undertaken, we need to reach 7.5% in our growth rate. And he mentioned how China has managed to reach 12% to feel comfortable, so that the population would feel comfortable. Now, how can we achieve such a rate? And is it feasible at the current stage?
To achieve a higher rate of higher growth rate, it is achievable. The directives of President Sisi for the cabinet is to achieve 7% growth rate. It is achievable, but the issue is not just the achieving this rate. The issue is how would the average person, the average citizen, feel the results or the output which the economy has achieved, in order to feel that he has paid the price and now he avails from the output or the results of the economic reform.
Yes.
Right, Mr. Abou Fetouh, of course, when we talk about, of course, anyone who is working very hard to be able to upgrade themselves, they could look up for role models. Malaysia could be a role model. Berlin, Germany, of course, could be the first role model when it comes to an economic leap, because they started from scratch with Chancellor Helmut Kohl. And also there is Brazil also, who could be a role model. There are other more countries. Which of all these do you think could be a fit role model for Egypt to follow footsteps?
I wouldn't take a particular country as a role model, but I would look at the success stories in each economy and try to get how did they achieve, or what are the success elements which made all these good results, and build my own model which is peculiar and suitable for my own country. So there is no a particular country which I would say this is a good model, I should depict it and take it as is.
Now, when we talk about investment, then definitely we have to talk about vocational training and vocational education and training, which the government now is trying to promote for. But to what extent is that feasible with our societal view of the technical and labor work? And how can we change that perspective to be able to really be not just a consuming society or investments based on consumption, but rather production?
Well, it's the perception of the Egyptian people about white collar and blue collar jobs. This has to be changed. It is difficult. It will take some time to change, but yet we have to start to make it happen. Vocational training and education as well. And we have seen radical changes in the education system, which is proposed by Ministry of Education. The change of the old system, which proved it is inefficient and produced generations without the competences that are required in the employment market. So it's education and vocational training and efforts to change the perception about the white collar and blue collar. All the jobs must be respected, and the education must be linked to the needs of the employment market.
Right, Mr. Fetouh. Also, when we talk about the economic reform program that was taken by the Egyptian administration, was such an courageous step, because this has been postponed for almost 60 years, or at least over like 50 years or something. And no other leader or president, Egyptian president, have had the courage to face those challenges and face reality and try to take the first steps to be able to change the situation for the best interest of the Egyptian citizen. But it seems that some citizens are not in full realization of this fact. For those citizens, what would you say? How do you explain to them the benefits of this current economic reform program, although that it's a little bit harsh, but you can starting to see bear the fruits of or the harvest of this plan?
The burden is on the shoulder of the media and on the government to to let the average citizen feel the importance of the economic reform and what hardships and what are the price or the outcome for paying or for bearing the hardships of arising from the economic reform program. I would say to the average person, the price was very high, and we know that everyone in Egypt has paid a high price, but I'm sure, and I assure you, that the output, the fruits of the program would be much higher than the price. So bear with us, and inshallah, you will see the results, inshallah, very soon.
Dr. Abou, to what extent can the various industrial zones created in Egypt, we have the Suez Canal, we have Damietta, we have in every area, the President has been keen to create a different, either industrial zone or a type of product, whether for furniture or in Ghalioun, for instance, the aquaculture farms and so on. To what extent can that help in creating more job opportunities for the youth and enhancing the business and atmosphere in the country?
The new industrial zones, of course, would help in creating more jobs for the youth, particularly for the youth. And these were very important for boosting for the economy. I think we have 21 industrial zones, and they are established in the last few years, and all these provide incentives for investors, whether domestic or foreign investors, that they would come and benefit from the incentives that are being provided to make the investments fruitful for both the state and for the investors.
Well, I'd like to thank you very much. Thank you very much,
Sure.
Economic expert Mr. Hany. Thank you very much for this interview.
Thank you for coming.
Thank you.
And now for a short break, and we'll come back to you. Stay with us.